Dear friends, welcome to the next session for Information Security Fundamentals. So in today's session, we will be continuing with application security and we will further look into more details related to it. So let us begin. Application security in the cloud. So application security in the cloud will pose some extra challenges because over the internet a lot of attacks can happen and it is extremely vulnerable for any type of devices to get attacked because the cloud environments provide shared resources. That is why special care must be taken to ensure that those users which have access to the data or are authorized to view in their cloud-based applications should only be allowed to use those applications. Sensitive data is also more vulnerable in cloud-based applications because those data is transmitted across the internet from the user to the application and back. Since a lot of attackers are continuously attacking different access points as well as different types of servers, so using different techniques, so it should be extremely important that we secure ourselves well over the cloud. So talking about application security in the cloud, we can classify them into mobile application security as well as web application security. So first we will talk about mobile application security. So the mobile devices which we use also transmit and receive information across the internet as opposed to a private network, which makes them more vulnerable to attack. When we are using a private network, the devices are connected only to that network and we are not very much exposed to the outside world in order to transmit or receive any information. However, using a mobile device over the cloud means that we are sharing every bit and pieces of our information over the internet and making them vulnerable for any type of attacks. Enterprises can use virtual private networks to add a layer of mobile application security for employees who log into applications remotely, as well as if we are using any remote desktops, so we should be more and more cautious that we use remote desktop along with a SSH so that it becomes much more secure. So IT departments may also decide to vet mobile apps and make sure they conform to company security policies before allowing the employees to use them on mobile devices that connect to the corporate network. So a set of guidelines and protocols has to be incorporated by the IT department so that the various mobile applications can be used under that protocol in order to avoid any type of attacks. The next is web application security. So this is another level of security which is maintained over cloud based on web applications. So web application security applies essentially to web applications. It might be either applications or services which the user accesses through a browser interface over the internet. Because web applications live on remote servers and they are not locally established on any user machines, information must be transmitted to and from the user over internet. So web application security is of special concern to businesses which host web applications or provide web services. So those companies or those enterprises which offer these services in the form of websites or web applications are very much vulnerable for these type of attacks. This business often choose to protect their network from intrusion with a web application firewall. So as already discussed in our previous sessions as well, these firewalls provides the first level of security for the web applications or for any type of applications that might be running in the system. A web application firewall works by inspecting and if necessary blocking the data packets which are considered as harmful. So either it will block it or it will give only that amount of permission which is required for any type of transaction which is classified or categorized as secure by the firewall. So moving ahead, we have to understand what are the application security controls or what does this term control means. So application security controls are basically the techniques which will enhance the security of an application at the coding level, making it less vulnerable to threats. Many of these controls deals with how the application responds to unexpected inputs that a cyber criminal might use to exploit a weakness. So, in during implementation of these controls, the security officers or the administrators will try their hands on experimenting with unexpected inputs so as to simulate an entire scenario of how the attack might take place or how the system will respond if some unexpected input is given. Basically, all of this takes place at the coding phase itself so that any type of threat is avoided at a later point of time. A programmer can write code for an application in such a way that the programmer has more control over the outcome of the unexpected inputs. So whenever there is a software running and if we give certain inputs which are not expected by the software, either it will lead to a malfunctioning of that software or it might break down completely. So these application security controls, which are incorporated during the coding phase itself, will take care of any type of such activities which might be there or any type of activities whose possibility of occurrence is more in near future. This might lead to a potential attack or potential scenario for attack simulation, and accordingly they can also write codes in order to avoid such type of attacks. So one of such techniques is fuzzing. So fuzzing is a type of application security testing where the developers test the results of unexpected values or inputs to discover which ones will cause the application to act in an unexpected way that might open a security hole. So suppose there is an application which is running in our system and there are several attackers who are attacking the system. So whenever we are applying fuzzing, we will be applying a technique where these unexpected connections or communications between the attackers and probably the server would be monitored, and whichever is causing an unexpected scenario or making the system work in an unexpected way will be pointed out, and it might be termed as a potential security hole or a vulnerable point for attack, because based on this testing it will be able to identify whether the system will not behave when the system or how the system will not behave in an expected manner. So talking about application security testing, the application developers perform this application security testing as a part of software development process, as already discussed, to ensure that there is no security vulnerabilities in a new or updated version of the software application. However, a security audit can make sure that the application is in compliance with a specific set of security criteria. Simply implementing or incorporating code within the system will not help. We also have to understand that the system is complying with a specific set of security criteria. After the application passes the audit, the developers must ensure that only authorized users can access it. We always have to remember that authorization and authentication are the first basic steps related to any type of security or control strategies. So in penetration testing, a developer thinks like a cyber criminal and looks for ways to break into the application. So this penetration testing is done in order to find out whether and how the attacker will attack the system. So in order to find it out, the developer himself will uh, act like the attacker and find out all possible ways of attacking his own system, thereby making the system stronger with every update possible. So penetration testing may include social engineering or trying to fool users into allowing unauthorized access. Testers commonly administer both unauthenticated security scans and authenticated security scans as logged in users to detect security vulnerabilities which might not show up in both the states. So penetration testing will take care of all these facts, where initially the developer will act as the attacker. Secondly, it will take care of all the unauthorized and unauthenticated access which is happening in that particular scenario, as well as it will also check for any type of vulnerabilities that might be there in the system. So this is one of the very strongest type of testing which is done for application security controls. Talking about application security tools, so these tools or application security tools can be classified as security testing tools as well as application shielding tools or products. So first of all, we will talk about security testing tools. So security testing tools can be categorized into static testing tools, dynamic testing tools, interactive testing tools, and mobile testing tools. Static testing tools or static testing basically analyzes code at fixed points during its development. This is useful for developers to whether check if their code, whatever they are writing is um, whatever they are writing or whatever they are developing is ensured that the security issues are being introduced during the development. So whatever they have coded or whatever they have written as a part of the code complies with the security or has security controls incorporated within it. For example, for simple codes like Java codes, we have a part which is known as exception handling. So we have to carefully incorporate exception handling into any type of Java program uh, in order to take care of various vulnerabilities. Dynamic testing is the next one, which analyzes running code. So previously static testing was for fixed code and it used to analyze in fixed points within the code that has been developed. Dynamic testing always analyzes running code, and this is more useful as it can simulate attacks on production systems and reveal more complex attack patterns that use combination of systems. So it is one of the very much currently used tools because it uses a wide combination of systems in order to identify more complex attack patterns. Then number 3 would be interactive testing, and it combines elements of both static and dynamic testing, and it is used mostly by the users because it has the involvement of the developers as well as testers, and also developers who will be posing as an actor. So mobile testing is the next one, which is designed specifically for mobile environments and can examine how an attacker can leverage the mobile operating system and the apps running on them in its entirety. So mobile testing is for mobile devices, and it will not only examine how the attacker can get through the mobile or application, but will also monitor the applications running on them. Now the next category of application security tools are application shielding products, where we have runtime application self-protection, which is known as RASP, code of obfuscation, encryption and anti-tampering tools, and threat detection tools. So application shielding tools or products has the primary objective of hardening the application so that the attacks are more difficult to carry out. See, we have to understand that our systems are not secure, and at any point of time any type of attack might take place. However, we might try to protect our system, but if that attack can easily be carried out, our system is more and more prone to failure. And if the application is difficult to attack, then the number of attacks would also similarly go down. So runtime application self-protection or RASP are the tools which could be considered as a combination of testing and shielding. They provide a measure of protection against possible reverse engineering attacks and are continuously monitoring the behavior of the app, which is useful particularly in mobile environments when apps can be rewritten, run on a rooted phone, or have the privilege abused to turn them into doing nefarious things. RASP tools can send alerts, terminate errant processes, or terminate the app itself if found compromised. So the primary objective of RASP is to monitor any type of vulnerabilities or protect the system from any type of possible reverse engineering attacks. Now, reverse engineering attacks are those attacks where the system is decompiled, or the system is the entire application is broken down into its original code, and then the code can be manipulated and maneuvered in order to do the attack. However, RASP will prevent this type of reverse engineering attacks as well as monitor different types of processes which are running in that particular application. Moreover, it can send alerts, and if at all found compromised, then it will terminate the application on the whole. The next one is code obfuscation. Obfuscation relates to non-understandability or difficulty in understandability. So hackers often use obfuscation methods to hide their malware, and now tools allow developer to do this to help protect their code from being attacked. So developers can now hide or make it difficult for the attackers in order to understand their codes so that they cannot be attacked. So that is known as code obfuscation. We then have encryption and anti-tampering tools. So these are the other methods which can be used to keep the bad guys from gaining insights into your code. So encryption and anti-tampering tools or methods, they come up with a lot of encrypted algorithms, so that, or a lot of encrypted algorithms as well as complex algorithms, so that we can use these algorithms to encrypt our data as well as code, so that the attackers cannot have an access to this code. The next we have is the threat detection tool, and these tools examine the environment or the network where our apps are running and make an assessment about potential threats and misuse trust relationships. So we will have an idea of the possible threats to the system as well as those trust relationships which might be misused or compromised relationships. This, for example, some employees which are working in the organization may turn as an attacker, convert as an attacker to the entire system, and then we will have a compromised issue related to the security, and threat detection tools will help us in order to identify these compromised relations. So some tools can provide device fingerprints to determine whether the mobile phone has been rooted otherwise compromised. So these are certain techniques which will help us to shield the applications or the application codes, so that we do not have to worry about any type of attacks that might take place in the system. The root or the primary concern about application security is securing the application from vulnerabilities and attacks. However, it is not always possible that we can secure anything in a 100% manner. So we have to look out for ways that could lead us to a point where we can say that it is almost or nearly equivalent to 100% protection or prevention. So we have to understand this from the perspective of computer science and computer applications, that protecting anything and everything is not always possible. However, we have to understand that we have to choose the most suitable tool which will help us. It might be a single factor or it might be a multi-factor level of security, but we have to incorporate this security in order to shield ourselves from external attacks. So that is all for today. Thank you.